Alright, so in this lesson, we are going to focus on the change in quantity demand and then change in what? In demand. From our previous video, we've established that there is an inverse relationship between quantity demand and then price. If that's the case, then we always have our demand curve sloping downward because of what the inverse relationship between price and the quantity demand. So, if you have a simple demand curve where we have our quantity on the horizontal axis, then we have our price on the vertical axis, then we can see that our demand curve is like this. So this is a simple demand curve. So this is our demand curve. Now, when there is a change in quantity demand, so this one we are looking at quantity demand, change in quantity demand. If there is a change in quantity demand, then we are saying that there is a movement along the demand curve. Movement along the demand curve. And this movement is solely caused or influenced by changes in what? In price. Because there is a change in price, there is a movement in what? In the demand for goods and services. And this, we see the movement along the demand curve. So for instance, if you have here to be a point on the demand curve, let's say this is our A, this is a point here, and B, C, D, and E, they are points on the demand curve. So let's have this one. So these are P1, this P0, P2, P3, and then P4. This is also Q0, so we have Q1, Q2, Q3, and then Q4. So in a situation where we have our price, which is price 1, increasing from price 1 towards 2, there has been increase in price. So what should we see in the demand? There should be a decrease in what? In demand. So let's look at it. So price is increasing from P1 towards P2. So previously the demand was here, but now that price increases to P2, demand has also increased to what? To Q2. So this movement that we have seen here is movement just on what? The demand curve. But, so for another example will be when price is decreasing. Assuming price is decreasing from P3 to P2, then we should see an increase in what? The quantity demanded. So in this case, you will see a quantity demanded from Q1 to what? To Q2. This is about a change in quantity demanded, solely influenced by changes in what? In price. So that is about what? The change in quantity demand. The movement is always along what? The demand curve. Is that okay? And it is all solely influenced by changes in what? In price. Now let's turn our attention to change in demand. So we are turning our attention to change in demand. If this, let's assume this is our D naught. So this is our D naught, our first demand curve. Now when we talk of change in demand, it is solely caused by other factors that is not by change in price, other factors apart from what? Price. So change in demand is simply a shift in the demand curve. A shift, that means the demand curve will move from one instant to the other. For instance, you have the demand curve either moving towards the right, that means there's an increase in what? Demand, or moving towards to the left, that means there's a decrease in what? The demand. And these are caused by factors that are not what? Price. So for instance, what are the other factors that can cause the change in what? In demand? We can look at what? Taste and preferences. We can look at the income level. We can also look at the weather condition, the climate. Okay, these are factors that are not changes in price, but they are also affect what? The demand curve. And in this case, we are saying that there's a shift in the demand, not movement along the demand curve, but there is a shift in the demand curve. So this contributes or attribute to what? The difference between change in quantity demand and what? A demand, change in what? Demand. So when we talk of change in quantity demand, we are looking at a movement along the demand curve. But when it comes to change in demand, then we are looking at what? A shift in the demand curve influenced by other factors apart from what? Price. But when it comes to change in quantity demand, we are looking at movement along the demand curve, which is due to what? To changes in what? In price. When it comes to supply, it's the same thing. When we look at change in quantity supply and change in supply, it's the same thing. But just remember that supply is having a positive relationship. Therefore, the supply curve will change, will not be that of the same as the demand curve. So if you want to look at a change in quantity supply and change in supply, then our supply curve will have this, it will be something moving upwards. So this is our supply curve. So a change will be a shift in the supply curve, and then a change in supply will be a shift in the supply curve, and then a change in the quantity supply will be a movement along what? The supply curve. Thank you. Thank you for watching our video. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more of such valuable content on all business related courses.